Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, today's we are debate ketiga as a here I'm as a moderator, Muhammad Rafiansyah, and here we have a 4-person of debate consists of opening government Ani, closing government Della, opening opposition Fawaid, closing opposition Mbak Fabintang. Okay, I wanna explain about rule debate. After I say start this debate, I start off stopwatch until 7 minutes. You talking in here. And the second, if I clap one, I start the POI. The second is 1 minute. You can answer for the opening government or closing government, or opening opposite, closing opposite until 50 seconds. And the second rule, the minute 6 minutes, I clap my to end the POI, and the last, after 7 minutes, I will end the debate. And the first debate is opening government. The time, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Cannabis is a type of illicit narcotic which usually comes in the form of combination of the dried leaf, stems, and flower parts of the cannabis sativa plant. But now, cannabis can take many forms. For example, forms such as gels, sprays, and others. Its use can be smoked, even evaporated, grilled, or snapped. Usually, smoked cannabis lies in cigarettes. According to Dr. Hari, cannabis smoked with cigarettes has a dangerous effect. When cigarettes are smoked, the effects that will occur are not only from the effects of cigarettes smoke which is totally dangerous, but also the active compound content of marijuana will also spread in the body. The result, what happens is a respiratory stress
Go on.
to the lungs. Dr. Harry gave an example of one of the guests in America who did from using electric cigarettes. Our Indonesian is vapor. In Indonesia, cannabis is considered an illegal item, and if it is co-processing, it can be punished. Although its purpose for treatment is still a matter of controversy, behind its benefits for medical health, cannabis brings that effect it is used not according to the recommended dosage or is approved. Cannabis also contains a chemical called cannabidiol, which is an active substance whose effect is different from the tetrahydrocannabinol content, or THC. Cannabidiol in cannabis can make users feel panic, hallucination, confused, worried, and depression. One of the organs most affected by cannabis use is the brain. Cannabis will stimulate the brain prefrontal area and reduce the volume of the hippocampus of the brain. Simply put, the brain volume will become smaller. This has an effect on memory or recollection. Dr. Septriani said the hippocampus is responsible for long-term memory storage. If there is a reduction in volume in this area, it can lead to cognitive problems and difficulty remembering. Not only that, cannabis will also disrupt the intercellular connection in the brain. As a result, cannabis users are unable to properly process information. In fact, there are several studies that state that, that the use of cannabis that is not in accordance with the dose can reduce the level of intelligence of the user. The American Heart Association recommends avoiding cannabis use in all its forms. This is because the content in cannabis has the potential to cause damage to the heart, lungs, and blood vessels. Cannabis users have the potential to experience cardiovascular problems such as heart attacks and stroke. Several studies analyzed by the medical group found heart rhythm abnormalities such as tachycardia and atrial fibrillation can occur within an hour of cannabis containing tetrahydrocannabinol. Tetrahydrocannabinol can also cause a faster heart rate, increase the need for oxygen to the heart, and interfere with artery walls. The effect of cannabis don't just stop at the user, but the people around the inhale the smoke can also be affected. That is for me. That is all for me.
Okay, thank you, Septi Triani. As opening government, you have 4 minutes 42 seconds. And the second, give applause. Wow. And the second debate is opening opposition. Ya, bener kan ya? Opening opposition is Fawaid. The time is yours. Let's fight together.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
As the opposition, I will debunk what she said that it is dangerous. For whom exactly? For what age group? And it causes depression. A lot of things causes depression, not only marijuana. Even marijuana, in some research, they use it to cure depression, but it's not the all and all. And the research that Annie had gifted to us, had presented to us, is kind of flawed. Why I say so? They choose what age group to smoke for the research, what age group how are their diet, do they exercise, we cannot judge a research by only what is it? Correlation does not equal causation. From my data, from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in US, as we know, in US, they legalize marijuana or cannabis in several areas, in several states. In the research in 2015, they noted that alcohol killed 88,000 per year. Tobacco, 80. Cannabis cause death in any way. From the research of Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration in 2012, they stated that most people who try marijuana do not continue smoking marijuana. It means that marijuana does not cause addiction.
Start PUI.
In tobacco, we know that nicotine can cause addiction. Even in coffee, it can cause drink. Next month, we need more and more doses of coffee. In marijuana, it doesn't happen. Marijuana, it's not granted that they will do it again. It's more to their personality, because some people are their personality, they have addict personality, and these kinds of people are that more likely to get addicted, not because marijuana itself. And based on the Stranger report on October 22nd, 2014, marijuana is not harmful for adult over 25 years old. As we know, every drug, even over-the-counter drug, over-the-counter, like anything from your doctor, they are not safe for children. They are not safe for teenager, because every drug that is consumed by human, it will prevent their brain to grow. Okay. Then is it really dangerous for children? Yes, every drug is dangerous for children. Cigarette and amoxicillin, over the counter, anything, pretty much anything is dangerous for children. That's why we should strengthen the consumption of drug, any drug, not only marijuana. Let's not talk marijuana for children. It's nonsense. It should be banned for children. But we talk about the adults here, the over 25 years old. Their brains have stopped growing after 25 years old, and it's not considered dangerous for them, for the adults. In 1930, maybe you wonder why it is illegal. The history, a little bit story here. In the US, in 1930, Federal Bureau of Narcotics in the US, they tried to ban some drugs. They had tried to ban alcohol, but it didn't go well. Chaos everywhere, mobs everywhere. They sell it illegally, and it was huge chaos in America. And then they tried to ban another thing. What is it? It was marijuana. Why? Because they don't like Mexican. Mexican smoke marijuana. They ban it because they are racist. It was the act of hating certain groups.
You have
As it is
1 minute
Mexican.
again to explain
Okay.
about opening up a shop. Go on.
Okay. And then they, in 1930 through 1936, they started a campaign, and in the end of 1936, it is banned in US. Now, let's ask the question, why in Indonesia we ban it? Is it because we follow them, or we have any reason for it? That is the big question here. I hope in this nation we don't follow racism, a history that screams racism. Okay, that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You have 6 minutes, 54 seconds. And the third debate person is closing government. The time is yours.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My statement is consuming marijuana leaves is not recommended at all, especially consuming it by mixing it into food. The reason is edible marijuana will have a more pronounced effect because it directly enters to bloodstream. As a result, the dangers of consuming marijuana in excess. Marijuana is said to be able to is used in moderation and with the assistance of a professional. Unfortunately, this plant is often abused for temporary enjoyment. The use of marijuana can indeed have effect of feeling calm and high, but in the long term, this plant can trigger side effects in the form of paranoid feelings and disturbance in perception. If used incorrectly or excessively, marijuana is said to cause a person to become unconscious. The consumption of marijuana should be avoided because it can lead to addiction that leads. The bad news is marijuana abuse can have various health effects on the body. Among them, mental disorders, the circulatory system
RPUI.
is not smooth, and
Start PUI.
the
I'm
lungs
sorry, my
and
connection
that's it
it's
equally.
bad.
Okay. If
You have
everything
50
in
seconds.
abuse is
Go on.
bad, but why alcohol is everywhere and it's not banned yet in our
Okay, Mas Wawait, can I go on my statement?
Go on.
Okay. Head of Rizka Widiati in a panel discussion on PNNP and PNNK said that this plant, which is widely grown in Aceh region, contains more than 100 components related to delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol or THC, which are called cannabinoids. THC is the psychotropic, which is the main compound of marijuana, which is responsible for most of the psychological effects of marijuana. The euphoria and hallucination caused by the use of marijuana can damage the workings of the human central nerves, causing mental disorder. Effort to legalize marijuana in Indonesia certainly cannot be done. This is because legalization of narcotics is considered contrary to legal, physical, psychological, social, as well as aspects of security and public order. This was revealed by BNN. Gianne Mandaki at BNN office said, marijuana cannot be legalized in Indonesia. She explained from the legal aspect, the legalization of marijuana would be in conflict with the 1961 UN Single Convention and the UN Single Convention 1988 and illegal drugs. In the convention, it is stated that all acts related to the problem of marijuana are a criminal act. that must be subject to a sentence equivalent to a prison sentence. The provisions of the two conventions have been ratified and further regulated in Law Number 35 on 2009 on narcotics, both regarding the classification of marijuana in narcotic class, as well as fairly severe criminal provisions. To explain. So meanwhile, from the physical and psychological aspect, continue Jean, the abuse of marijuana can cause health and psychological problems because it can permanently damage the nerves of the brain if used continuously. I think that's all for my statement. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Closing government have a 5 minute 33 second. And the last debate person is closing opposition, Mbak Bintang. The time is yours.
Yes. I start with the last closing opposition that she is mentioned about abuse. Why cannabis and marijuana can be abused because there is some doses yang tidak diperbolehkan gitu. Jadi so if dosis is with the correct doses and every person in person can consume the marijuana and cannabis can consume around 15 gram. Yes, only 50 gram. It's not abuse. And there is some many country already use cannabis and marijuana. There is so many countries that already use marijuana, like Canada, Mexico, Amsterdam, that already legal in every country, that can be as penyembuhan, a cure for a cancer, or such as skin cancer, paralysis, bone disease, and glaucoma, where some people in Indonesia can cure that cancer in this country, not going to Singapore or Canada to cure the cancer. So there is so many benefit for marijuana can be legal in this country because there is some penyakit that can be cured in what? Yes.
Go on.
Yes.
Go on, Mbak.
What POI? Yeah. If marijuana can legal in this country, there is some people that can cure the cancer. Not mengeluarkan too many money to going to Singapore, but in this country. And in the article, healthcare of USA use marijuana and cannabis for the chocolates or coffee or the candy for like calcium. For them is like calcium in doses 15 gram in 1%. So it's not danger or abuse if this country legal it with the correct doses. And in another CARE2 in USA, CNN, there is 10 but yeah, 10 diseases that can be cured by marijuana. Number 1 is Alzheimer. Alzheimer is like kanker otak that can be cured by marijuana. And anxiety like depression in people, arthritis like what is lame, I mean lumpuh, and cancer that many people say that cancer cannot be abused, that cannot be cured, but it is can cure by marijuana. In Commonwealth University found that marijuana and cannabis can cure epilepsy. And the last disease is glaucoma that can be cured by marijuana and cannabis. It is so many people so many countries that cure the disease by marijuana and cannabis, but in this country, so many people going to Singapore or another country to cure the disease. The benefit from the cannabis and marijuana in the correct doses. For me, and the last in the med page today, what is like what give an autism or Parkinson
1 minute
can
plus.
cure by cannabis and marijuana. So there is so many disease that can cure by cannabis and marijuana. So in this country, the people don't need to go to Singapore or like another country like Chinese, but in this country cannot cure by the marijuana and cannabis if marijuana and cannabis already legal. Thank you. That's all that I can explain. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And the last person of debate closing opposition, Bapak Bintang, you have 6 minutes 55 seconds. And before I close this debate, and the last session is judges. And Rosie, as a adjudicator, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. From me, Ani explain about the effect, the impact, marijuana for our heart, for our body, and she just like for manner, she just like read the text and flat expression. And then for fawaid, he explained about that marijuana is not dangerous at all. Drug is not. It can be. It's okay for the adult. And may become illegal. It may become legal. I think fawaid has good expression and the intonation. It's not flat. It's make the argument is more meyakinkan gitu. And for Della, I think Della and Annie explain the dangerous for consume the marijuana and the impact for our body and mental. There is a POA from Fawaid, but Della is not answer the POA. And then for the matter, for the manner, she have a gesture. She uh, she will use her hand for the gesture to make sure and not monotone or flat. And for Mbak Bintang, she said that some country has been legalized marijuana for a cure for medication, and marijuana have many benefits for some disease for health. Okay. Uh, for Mbak Bintang, she said that some country has been legalized marijuana for medication, and marijuana have some benefits for a cure disease like cancer and like cancer. And then she said that marijuana it's not dangerous if used in correct dosage. But from me, I think Mbak Bintang spend many time to thinking what should she say. I think does not have good preparation for tonight. So according to my opinion, okay, in my opinion, for the for the best for the winner for the group winner, yeah, for the winner is from the
Who is the winner? The winner is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
bad impact Okay, for the winner of the group is government team because he said they explain about the effect, the bad impact for our body, for our health, and it can be causes the crime. Then for the best speaker, I think it's for Fawa. Fawa it because she has good expression and good intonation, and then the argument sedikit tadi membuat saya yakin gitu. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, and the session of judging is done, and the debate, we have the winner, and the winner is Mr. Fawaid. And maybe that's it for today. And the last is wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Congratulations.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.